All right, so welcome to the discussion on multicultural considerations of leadership. My name is John Hargaden. I'm lucky to be joined by Scott Thovson, who is a graduate of Columbia Southern University. He graduated magna cum laude with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration this year. He is currently the Assistant Program Manager for Operations Support Fleet, Army Fixed Wing Acquisitions Program Office. And so, Scott, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here, sir. Thank you.
The power distance is pretty low, meaning that in the military is probably a little bit different, but in general, in our excuse me, in our culture, if someone in a leadership position tell someone to do something, it's not unusual to see them sort of question why is that necessary or why are we doing that. Whereas studies have shown that oftentimes in other cultures, such as in the Middle East, that power distance is a little bit higher and there's a little bit less uh, of a question. It's not necessarily disrespectful, but they're not going to question why is it that I need to do that, as opposed to in the United States, sometimes that question will be asked. Was that sort of, did you sort of see that in action as well, something like that?
I absolutely did. I think that your account of that is spot on. I think that um, there are a lot of folks, and I think some of it's from um, your environment, how you grew up, from your environmental perspective, how you were raised culturally. It really depends upon how you grow. And the Army, certainly, as with other military services, has a fairly rigid platform that kind of removes the need for a why.
Right.
You certainly go out and execute tasks when told. And now, certainly through time, there's been some adaptation of that, hey, we're going to go and do this because of this reason, to immediately remove the why. Why am I here? Whereas, and some of that's because, we're a resilient body. For uniform services, in and around many places, not in any one location for a longer period of time. So there's some resiliency, I think, that explains some of that. But the other piece is that from a cultural standpoint, and I think you find that it's not just specific to the Middle East. Europe, I've spent some time in Europe. The same can be said in that regard.
Well, Scott, listen, I really want to thank you for taking the time to help us and to share your experiences with us.
No, I'm glad to help. I'm glad to, be, you know, offer what little I have in my small brain to kind of help shape, you know, future efforts as it relates to leadership or, cultural diversity. So I appreciate the opportunity.